Abby someone. Abby someone. Abby who? Abby normal.
Wonder Woman 1984. We fucking saw it. Finally, we saw it.
I'm just going to start by saying that it was not how I wanted to start this year. Because there was so much hype put into this movie, you know, and because the first one was so good, everyone had really high expectations. And sometimes I really hate that. Sometimes I really hate when you have really high expectations of a film because it almost is never going to live up to those. So it's just going to fall flat, and really no matter what.
Yeah, the first Wonder Woman to me, it's not just good, it's stupidly good. The first one is fucking amazing. It's truly a great one. So when I saw that Wonder Woman 1984 was coming out, I at least wanted it to be as good. But I had a feeling that it wasn't going to be. But I also didn't think it was going to be this bad.
It was really bad. I mean, there's not a whole lot of good things I have to say about the film. The opening sequence, I think everybody says the same thing about this opening sequence. Nobody really understands where it's supposed to fit in throughout the movie. I don't think she cheated.
I don't think she did either. She just caught up back to her horse, which was already running. Like if she had just stayed on the horse, she would have been in the same place.
I'm like, okay, so resourcefulness is cheating.
Yeah, she just didn't give up. That's what she did.
Exactly. That's the thing that we're all taught. Like, hey, don't give up. You get knocked down, you get right the fuck back up.
You get the fuck back up!
That's what she did. And they're like, no, Diana, you cheated. I'm like, well, shit.
No, she did. Like, the whole thing, sorry, I'm stuttering. The whole thing is that, my thing is that if they really wanted to make that opening thing work, what I wrote was, let me see if I can remember. I got to read it with my one good eye that I got.
I really am digging the eye patch.
It's a sexy eye patch. Yeah, so I think they would have done better, right? If they, one, actually made her cheat, and then two, if she cheated, tell her nothing is worth having if it comes from lies, that's what it should have been the message, because then later in the film when she gets Trevor back, and all these other people get everything they wanted, it's from a lie. It's not worth it. It's just like the whole, you have to work hard to get what you want, and sometimes you can't get what you want, and you can't lie to yourself to get it either. You have to face the truth. And I think if they had gone in that direction, it at least would have made that opening, make sense. And then you have a problem with the whole opening. This really has nothing to do with the movie, though. It was just a side comment that you said. Why the fuck doesn't she go home? Like, why? She talks about, what is it again? The Amazon? No, what's the place called?
Themyscira.
That place, yeah. She talks about this place so fondly in all of her movies. Like, oh, I miss it. My childhood was so amazing. And your family's still there.
Yeah, she speaks of it in a past tense as if it no longer exists. But there's never a point in time, even throughout the other DC Universe films that she's in, where you see Themyscira being destroyed or anything like that. So why doesn't she just pop in for a visit at Christmas time?
Yeah, there's many holidays. Thanksgiving, you could just, I don't know what Amazonian holidays they have, but you could just go see your family occasionally.
Yeah, because she lives in the everyday world, and so whenever whatever museum she works at shuts down for the holidays, she could always go home.
Yeah, it's a museum. They're closed a lot.
Yeah, it's like they close for every holiday, or it's like you go home and visit your family. You don't have to talk about it like it's like it's not there anymore.
And it's not like she didn't have the time, because that was actually something that I brought up, was that I think it was Superman versus Batman, or it was Justice League. One of those films, she says, Diana says, I hid myself away from the world, and then she learned that she wasn't going to do that anymore, right? But she came to the world of man, as she calls it, was it World War I or World War II?
It was World War II.
No, it was one. It was one.
No, it was two, because they were fighting the Germans.
But World War I had no man's land, I think.
No man's land happens just about any time that nobody makes any ground. So
we're editing that out then.
There's no man's land. Just because you don't, because you for once don't say.
We're keeping all your mistakes.
You got one thing wrong, and you're like, I'm editing that out.
We're keeping your mistakes, and we're editing mine out.
You know what?
This is my show.
You don't love me. I'm going to poke out your other eye.
Google it. What the is it? Is it
no, because it was in the 40s.
I thought it was in the 40s, but
it was in the 40s, and that was World War II.
Google it. Just make sure. I think it was World War I. The uniforms I think we're World War One uniforms.
No. It was World War II. Well, according to IMDb, it says 1918, but that wasn't World War I either, was it?
Yes, it was.
There was that big a span of time between World War I and World War II?
Yes!
It doesn't ever say which World War. It just says in 1918 when the American pilot Steve Trevor crashes offshore and tells Diana about World War I. Oh, there it was.
World War One! She got to the world of man in like World War One, so like 1918-ish time, you know,
It was
and
1918.
yeah, and so like that's when she got there, right? But she supposedly hid herself away until the whole Batman versus Superman movie, which I'm pretty sure that's when she said that. From that movie, she says she's been hidden. She's hidden herself away from the world. But in Wonder Woman 1984, she's over in the mall just kicking ass, like not even hiding her face.
She's running down the street, kicking cars, catching brides falling off bridges. She's flying around on her little shining golden lasso inside the mall.
Now, there was that one scene in the mall, right? There was that one scene in the mall where she like takes her tiara, smashes all the cameras.
Yeah.
So I mean, you could use that as say, oh well, she's trying to hide herself. But I'm sorry, it was the '80s. We had wind-up cameras. You remember the whole yeet 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 yeet? You gotta hit the button. And it goes like those fucking cameras. You know, like you can't tell me.
And by the time you ever
Polaroids.
And by the time you ever got those cameras developed, you have no idea what was on them.
Yeah. I
You
mean-
were afraid usually.
Yeah, exactly. You can't tell me nobody had a camera. You can't tell me nobody had a camera and wasn't taking pictures of this chick.
Well, I don't know because I mean, who takes a back then? Okay, back in the '80s, who took a camera to the mall though? You didn't buy those disposable cameras unless there was a special occasion coming up.
I don't know. If I saw like a superwoman like beating the shit out of people with a glowing lasso, it's a pretty special occasion.
Okay, I feel like we're straying really far from the point here.
Look, I'm just saying, even the news group would have been around if she's going around saving a bunch of people and whatnot. Somebody would have seen her, and there would have been photos and everything.
Well, here's my thing. Okay, the security guards in the mall, they alert the police, but they make no mention of a magical flying woman with a shiny golden rope.
Yeah.
They make no mention of that, which I'm sorry, that's a little odd as well. So the lasso gets used for everything now. It's not just I use it here and there. It's a constant thing. And other than that, she really doesn't actually use her powers. She herself is really, as Wonder Woman, is not in the film a lot.
Yeah.
She's in the film mostly as Diana Prince and not really as Wonder Woman.
There's a whole lot they could have done with Diana, you know, with her loss of powers, you know, and what that means. But here it's just to make her vulnerable, not as a person, just she can get hurt. They didn't do a lot more with it, you know, like what it means, what she has to learn as a person.
Yeah, I also didn't care for seeing her be such a jaded character.
Yeah.
Because in the first film, what made her character so great in the first film is that she simply wanted to help people and do the right thing. Damn what the rules were, damn what was supposed to be done. And that's what I loved about her. She cared about people, everyone.
Well, that's actually a really good point. To bring us into the one part where you were talking about how she really does the right thing. She really doesn't do the right thing in this movie.
1984, no.
She does it because there's kind of a big thing where
Yes.
she
And see,
rapes a man.
I think that's a strong word, but we're just...
It is not. It is literal.
But I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying. So in Wonder Woman 1984, Wonder Woman, unbeknownst to her, when she wishes for Steve Trevor to come back because she's missed him for all these years, you know, her heart still aches for this man. She wishes for him, not knowing that he would actually be brought back by this, you know, what does they call it, the wishing stone or whatever this thing is called in the film.
Yeah, it's a magic rock.
And so, okay, now I don't know why it had to go this way, okay? Because the wishing stone is making all these other things just basically materialize. Like it just makes anything
Literal
you want
versions
happen.
of the
Yes,
wish.
an exact literal version of what it is you wish for. We're not talking about like genie in a lamp really necessarily, but it is still a very literal, like if I wished that I had a pizza right now, what would happen is a delivery guy would show up at my door and deliver me a pizza by accident,
But it's still a
something like that.
literal version.
But it's still a literal version of what happened.
Yeah.
Steve Trevor gets brought back, and instead of being brought back in his own body as himself, he is brought back and he is
Hallmark actor number 34.
he is possessing the body of a real
Douchebag.
person, of a real person whom we never even know what this person's name is, okay? But
No, we
all
don't,
of a
do
sudden- No, we don't even know this person, okay? But he is put into this person's body, and he is fully conscious of it. He makes mention to Diana once I don't know how he finds her. It just so happens that he's brought back into some random man that just so happens to be living in the same city as Diana. And how he would know that, how he would know that Diana Prince was living in this city is beyond me. But he just
Well, he
happens
did make
to look
mention that he
looked
checked
through the
phone
yearbook.
book.
Yeah, or the yearbook. The phone book.
The
The phone book.
yearbook.
But yeah, the phone book. But why would, why would you just start looking through the phone book? So anyway, he finds Diana, okay? He convinces Diana of who he is. And so then they're all enamored with each other. They go back to Steve's place, which is this random Hallmark 34.
And while he's wearing...
It's his apartment, okay? And they're just looking through his things, and Steve Trevor's like, oh yeah, I like this guy. And
Yeah, I was going to say, he's wearing
admiring-
this human
he's-
skin
he's-
suit.
Yeah, he's admiring.
I like it. I'm going to
Yeah.
keep it.
Yeah, like it's like this person was just a coat off the rack. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna try this on. Hey, I like this. This fits really nice. It is implied, and you see them in the bed together. It is implied that they have physical relations. We'll call it that.
Oh, no, it's been brought up. I don't think it's been brought up in like the other reviews that you and I watched, but there's plenty of articles that it's rape. It is rape.
Yeah, I mean this was a person that has now been possessed, and
No consent.
no consent whatsoever. I have a problem with this, and I think a person should. Now, I don't know who's working for the film industry for who made this. I don't know how this got past all of the editors, and I don't know. Nobody seemed to think that there was a problem with this, especially in today's world when this is a hot topic. Okay, it's all wrong.
It's
Like,
all
that-
wrong.
I'm
It's
sorry.
all bad.
That right there, that should not have been in the film. It should have simply just been that Steve Trevor came back in his own body.
Yeah, you know what would have
That-
happened
that
if they had
would have
done
been
that?
better.
There wouldn't have been a rape, and everything would have been fine.
Yeah.
Nothing would have been changed.
That would have been fine. Okay. Now moving on to Kristen Wiig's character in the film, who she ends up playing Chitara. Is it Chitara?
I think it's just Cheetah, or maybe it is Chitara. I don't know. Catwoman.
No, she's not Catwoman, but she plays a character named Barbara. Is it Barbara Minerva?
That sounds right.
I really feel like her character was completely irrelevant and inconsequential. I don't feel like she
Should
even
not have
needed
been
to,
in this, no.
did not need to be a part of this film whatsoever. Pedro Pascal's character is a great character, and he's a human character. Okay, so
I want to talk about Barbara.
that's how irrelevant I feel like she is.
But I have something to say.
Okay, we'll say something about Barbara.
Maybe I'll say something about Barbara.
Okay,
Barbara.
well, say it, and let's move on.
So, the whole thing about her character, I've seen this actually pointed out multiple times, that she's just this generic character that we always see. She's so clumsy, but she's really smart. Nobody really appreciates her for all her talents, yada yada. And she just wishes she was like somebody else. We've seen it 1,000 times over and over and over and over and over again. I still don't think that she should have been in this movie at all. However, there's one thing that I think they could have done better with Barbara Cheetah chick, her. Chester Cheeto, what we could have done better with her is that instead of making her this character that is like this clumsy, goofy, I can't even walk in heels chick, just make her a regular person, right? She's just a regular person somewhere, because there's a scene after she starts walking home. This dude, this creep, starts trying to like force himself on her, and it's fucking shitty. She herself, there was nothing she could do against him. Like, she's not trained. She's not stronger than him. She was vulnerable and defenseless against him. Right now, Diana saves her. To which I would have made it different. As dark as this would get, I would make it to where he doesn't actually get to the point where he can do anything to her, but he does hit her. She then feels powerless. And so when she gets the wishing stone and she remembers, oh shit, this is a wishing stone. And she's like, fuck it. What's it gonna hurt if I wish, upon this rock, and she wishes that she could be strong. Like, cause she has seen, like my point, that Wonder Woman chick. She doesn't connect to this Diana, but she just knows that there's a strong Wonder Woman chick, fighting crime and whatnot. And she's like, I want to be like that, because then nobody could hurt me ever again. And that's a genuine, strong motivation for her to not she doesn't want to feel weak. She doesn't want to feel scared. She doesn't want to feel like, people can do things to her. She can defend herself. And that makes for a really compelling, antagonist if she's going to be in the film. Because she turns into a villain because she becomes power hungry, because she then realizes, well, Wonder Woman could probably hurt me. And if there's somebody else like her, they can probably hurt me. No matter how strong I am, I have to get stronger and stronger and stronger. And she just wants more and more power. So you understand where she's coming from. She's a sympathetic villain in a sense. I think that would have been a lot more interesting if they had done that approach. Still, again, I would have rather just her be in her own film, but I think they went the generic route. Oh, she can't walk in heels, and then she can walk in heels. That sounds like Cheetah.
It very much, to me, seemed like they knew that Maxwell Lord was not a strong enough villain.
How dare you?
Because this is a superhero film. There needs to be a superhero villain, which Max Lord is not. Even when he himself wishes to become the Wishing Stone itself, he's still a mortal man. He can't fight. All he can do is grant wishes.
I will challenge you on this.
And so, but if he were to fight Wonder Woman one-on-one, Wonder Woman obviously is going to win. There has to, this is a DC movie. And
I have a question for you. I have a question.
I'm just saying that they just let me get to my point before you ask your question. I feel like they literally just stuck Cheetah in there
to have a fight,
just so they could have a fight scene.
Yeah, no,
and not even
agree.
a good one,
and
not even a good one. I feel like that was the only reason she was put in there. So I don't feel like they actually put any real thought into her character or even into the part that she should have played in the film. And so that's why I feel like her place was just completely irrelevant. I don't even feel like she needed to be in the film because they did such a poor job incorporating her in, which is really sad because I feel like there was such a missed opportunity with Wonder Woman and Cheetah.
And Kristen Wiig was doing good with what she had. It's just what they gave her wasn't good.
Yeah, not a problem with Kristen Wiig whatsoever.
Yeah.
She's a phenomenal actress, and I've always loved because she can do so much. She has a good for someone
range.
Someone who used to do just a bunch of comedy. You've seen her do other movies where you can see her actual skill and range as an actress. So no, full props to her. This is what she was given, and she rocked her part completely. It's just that, like you said, what they gave her was absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
Now Maxwell Lord is, I think we both agree on this, the best part of the whole film.
Fuck yeah.
He's an absolutely relatable character. He's a father. You can't really call him a single father because it's made clear he doesn't have full custody of his son, but he sees his son regularly. He has like the weekend visitations with his son. You see this relationship between the two of them, and there's that moment where his son witnesses, how downhill his dad is going. And Maxwell Lord's character has this moment where he looks at his son and he's like, your dad is not a loser, and one day you are going to be proud to be my son. And it's like, and you can feel that no matter. Me as a woman, I felt that, and I'm not a dad, but I felt that. That was a touching scene.
Well, speaking of dads, I happen to be one. And I felt that same pretty damn hard, because you don't want to do everything for your kid's approval, but you're fucking lying if you're a parent, and there's not a portion of you that would just really like it if your kids did appreciate you and were proud of you. You don't live for their admiration, but you do desire it. And there's no shame in wanting that, because who doesn't? You want your kids to admire you. You admire your kids. You don't live for it. You don't strive. That's not the whole reason for everything you do. You got to live for yourself in a lot of ways. But everything that I do, every time they look at these kids, I want them to look at their father and think, I'm proud to be his son, you know. And so whenever he had that moment, I felt that shit. I'm like, fuck yes, like I've been down, you know. I've been down. You and I've been down. We're married. In case like this is the first video, people don't know this. We're husband and wife, right?
We are.
That's what I thought. Okay, yeah, I was pretty sure. Like we've been down. We've been in some pretty shitty places, you know. And when you really want to work hard, you want to provide the best you can for your kids, you know. And you want to give them the moon, you know. And so I really felt his character, you know. But one thing you were saying is about how like you have to have like a superhero movie. You know, he's just a man. He's just a mortal. What I was gonna say was, who's Superman's arch nemesis?
Batman.
What? I'm not editing that out. I'm not editing that out. Everyone's gonna hear that. Everyone's seeing that.
Hey, that's how the
They're
DC
best
universe.
friends.
Now, I think we forget that Batman killed him.
They
Bat-
do that occasionally.
Batman
they occasionally
killed
fight.
Superman.
They occasionally fight.
He killed him. A mortal man killed Superman. I'm just going to point that out. Now, here's the thing.
Lex
okay?
Luthor is his
But
nemesis.
okay, but right. Okay, but Lex Luthor also has on his side his intelligence. So he creates weapons for himself, and he researches. He finds Superman's weaknesses and he uses it against him and things like that. Maxwell Lord does not possess those. Like he's not like this, super villain. Like even being a mortal man, and people have even discussed this. Even Bruce Wayne, his superpower is he's rich ultimately, and he's intelligent.
Right.
And he's strong. But at the end of the day, mortal man, but he just has the ability to buy the best armor and the best weapons.
I will say that he does become the wishing stone, right? But that doesn't explain why the wind was stopping her from getting to him at the end. She's trying to get. What is? Did he have a wish that nothing can get to him? Or I'm sure they could explain it away. He wishes nothing can touch him. Like, okay, fine. Then you've explained it, and I don't have to have that explained. I'm just saying because I can accept that there's something going on with the stone, and that's why she can't get to it. I was fine with all that. I really wish they would have stuck with that because I didn't need a big fight. I needed a personal, emotional journey because it's the problem with a lot of especially like the Fast and Furious movies. They're always just trying to, what's the next big thing? The next big thing, fuck the next big thing. You do a big thing, that's awesome, but then you got to bring it back down. And instead of doing a nice big action-packed thing, you got to do a more personal and emotional
Yeah, you got to sit down. You got to have a heart-to-heart.
You got to have the heart-to-heart. You got to have hearts in hands. Touching hands, reaching out.
Please don't.
For touching me.
I'm gonna throw myself off this couch.
Touching you.
Can I hurt myself with that? I want to knock myself unconscious.
Sweet
God damn it. Yeah, choke on it. Choke on Sweet Caroline.
Anyway.
I hate that. And he does it to me all the time, and I hated it.
He hated it.
I hate it.
Yeah.
I loved that song until that. I can't even listen to the song anymore. He ruined that for me.
Anyway, I think Maxwell Lord's character would have been great. We should have focused on him, had a much more personal journey with him, had a personal journey with Diana with her vulnerability, making her have to explore if she's kind of like the whole Tony Stark thing, or if you're nothing without the armor, then you don't deserve to have it. If you can't be Wonder Woman, if you can't be yourself without your powers, then who are you? That type of story. But I don't know. There's a lot of it.
Yeah. Let's just say this about this film.
Okay.
There's a bunch of bullshit.
Bullshit.
None of it is explained.
None. Well.
Nothing is earned.
Yes, that's true.
And it's crap aside from very few decent. I'm not even going to say good. They were decent.
Well,
moments.
Here's the thing. Because a lot of people are saying, there's a lot of people who are really fucking acting like this is the worst movie of all time. I don't think it's the worst movie. I think you dislike it a lot more than I do. I don't like the movie.
I watched it once all the way through and attempted to watch it for a second time and hated it even more the second time than I did the first time.
Okay, so you're the negative Nancy this time.
Didn't even make it halfway through the film. Okay,
but I think that you hate it a lot more than I do. I don't like the movie. I don't hate it. I'm just disappointed in it. I'm frustrated that they had a really easy opportunity to make a really good film. You and I are not filmmakers, but I think we had pretty decent ideas on a couple things.
But we watch
change.
A lot of films, and we know
we don't do anything. We don't have jobs. We just watch movies. We're lazy.
That's not true. I don't have a job. I get the wonderful job of being a mother to all of our children.
Don't tell that to Bill Burr. The hardest job in the world. She's a mother. Really? Like, being a mother is the hardest job?
I didn't say that. I did not say being a mom was the hardest job. I just said that I get the wonderful job of being a mother to our 4 children. So yeah. I mean, I used to work. I mean, I only quit my job a year ago. So I mean, I was in the workforce for quite a long time. I did my time.
Yes, I did my waiting. 12 years.
I served my time in the workforce. I'm glad to be home, but we do watch a lot of films, and we do try to. We do know what makes a good film, and this film easily was not a film that I could say that I really enjoyed. Like I said, I watched it once all the way through because it was the first time I watched it. So naturally, you're going to watch it all the way through to see what is happening. The second time, since I had already seen everything, I was hoping that maybe it would appeal to me a little bit more the second time. It really didn't. I actually liked it a lot less. And I didn't even want it because it's actually quite boring. There's a lot of the film where you're almost 2 hours into the film before there's really even anything interesting really happening, any action or any Wonder Woman action. So it's not, so if you're hoping to see a lot of Wonder Woman action, you're not going to see that in this film. Whenever you do see Wonder Woman, though, you do get to see her pull out some new stuff. Like, she flies now. She's figured out how to fly. She also does the whole invisible plane deal, but it's not like what you used to see.
No.
But it's not like what you used to see where she's just flying an invisible jet. What she does essentially is just create a force field around the jet, like the force field that was around Themyscira.
Which wouldn't stop them from seeing it on radar. I don't give a fuck.
I do. I mean, it's magic. She's already got, he and I have already had this argument. I'm not going to do it again.
It would still be on the radar.
It wouldn't.
If it's interacting with the space
magic
around it, it would be on the radar.
It's magic. Magic would cloak that. There would be nothing. There would be
God.
Nothing. Anyways. But yeah, she flies. She uses the lasso for pretty much everything. So
Everything.
really, so even in the fight scenes, she's actually not really fighting as much as she's using the lasso. She uses the lasso to deflect bullets. Mostly, she doesn't use her wristbands to deflect the bullets like normal. She does a few times, but most of the time she uses
Where's her fucking shield?
She uses the lasso to grab people and throw them, which she characteristically does, but she really doesn't.
It wasn't a mixture of her shit though. Like, this was all the lasso show.
It really was. Her lasso was really kind of the star of when Wonder Woman was on screen.
And then even her flying at the end doesn't even play a role in anything.
No, it really doesn't.
He just gets her from one point to another. Which, okay, cool.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really ever. It doesn't seem like it was important to know that she flies now.
Yeah.
Especially since whenever you watch Wonder Woman, you essentially see her fly at the very, very end of the film. Whenever she, at the very, very end of the film, you see her fly.
Jumps off the building.
Yes, because you have to consider the fact that the first Wonder Woman, the end of the film is supposedly in the timeline takes place after Wonder Woman 1984. So by this time she's been flying for 20, 30, 40 years. So you already know, she pretty much already knows she can fly. So why this was a revelation in Wonder Woman 1984 is really beyond me. I don't feel like a lot of things in this film, it was irrelevant for me. It just nothing in this film really made you care about it. You didn't care about the characters except Maxwell Lord. You really, like I said, he's human. You identify with him. You understand where he's coming from. And he's not, and here's the thing. He's supposed to be the quote unquote villain, but there was never a point in this film where I felt like he's a bad guy. I mean, you know, it's like, yeah, he gets really greedy and he starts getting really out there crazy. But there's really not a point where I'm thinking he's just a malicious person. He's just wanting to hurt people.
Well, and towards the end, I mean, he got like his health back, but in the end, wasn't he just granting people their wish? He wasn't getting anything in return for all those wishes.
No, in fact, it was killing him. In fact, it was killing him to grant all these wishes. I mean,
he did get the stuff he wanted all along the way, but towards the end, it really just felt like he was just granting everybody's wish. I don't know. He's the wishing stone. Maybe that was like the end result for his transformation to the wishing stone. Now he just grants everybody their wish. You know, I don't fucking know.
Yeah, well, and then, you know, and since the film literally includes every person on planet Earth, and yet there's no mention. So this supposedly happens, and every single person is involved, but there's no, like, you know, time doesn't go back and everybody's memories gets erased. But nobody ever talks about it.
Yeah, that man who told that lady to drop dead and she started dropping dead.
Hey,
she remembers.
Yeah, she was like, you wanted me to die, that's asshole.
That's attempted manslaughter. You're going to jail now.
Yeah, it's like all of a sudden everything is just undone and nobody ever talks about it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like that one time that you were at a party with a bunch of your friends and you maybe got a little too drunk and maybe said or did things that you didn't really mean to do or say. And then the next day, everyone's so embarrassed for you and you embarrassed of yourself. The very next day, no one ever mentions it to you and no one ever speaks of it, ever. It's like that.
You want to know the reality, though? There was one guy. There's probably multiple, but you know for a fact there was one guy, right? It was the best day. It was the best day because he's like, I really wish I just had a 12-inch penis. And he got it. And then
there was probably
this bastard had to relinquish his wish. Do you understand the pressure that must have been on this man? Like, I relinquish my wish.
Why must you think of these things?
I was just saying. Like that's would have been this guy's best and worst day of his fucking life.
See, I'm over here thinking to because I'm actually a nice person. I'm over here thinking to myself that there's some really sweet person out there who probably wished that cancer would no longer exist. You know, and that would get undone. Just think about this
there's
for a
just
second.
some child in a hospital who's like, I'm better. I could go oh, fuck.
Yeah, and then, cancer's back. Sorry, you're back at stage 4.
You know what? That's actually a challenge that for the people if they watch this video. In the comments, come up with the darkest shit. Like the person who wished for something and then had to renounce it. Whether it's dark for them or dark for the people who are at the result of it. Just come up with the darkest shit you got. Like, I want to see it.
Yeah, like, I'm sorry, nobody thought about that whenever they made this film. I feel like this film went through no type of editing process. Like, nobody read this script or watched this film in post-production and thought, you know, there's a lot of holes everywhere in this film. There's a lot of things in this film that shouldn't be in this film. You know, nobody was paying attention.
Well, that actually brings me to the one thing I wanted to, because I'm going to mention Jay over at Classic Flicks. Jay is a friend of mine. He also reviews films. He's very opinionated, so just be prepared for that. If you don't go to look at his YouTube channel, Classic Flicks, he's going to say whatever the hell he wants to say. But he always says one thing, and it's something I agree with him on, but I don't agree that he was right about it this time. His whole thing is that you're not going to make the perfect film. The perfect film's not going to exist. What you do is you try to make an effective film. So you try to make moments that they're not going to be perfect, but be effective in what you're trying to do, right? He says, Wonder Woman, if you think about it, this movie makes no sense. It doesn't. There's plenty of holes, just like you said, which there are. But for him, it was effective. To me, there was plenty of holes, and it wasn't effective. There was a few moments where it was effective, but for the most part, I thought this film was just... That's what I'm saying. It was disappointing. It was just a letdown. I'm not angry at the film. I don't think it's the worst movie ever made. It's just, I don't know if I'm just coming off the hype of the first Wonder Woman movie or what. I watched it a second time with an open mind, and it's not good in my opinion.
It is a disappointing movie from start to finish. I just completely. It's not even enjoyable to watch. Like I said, tried to watch it for a second time. I couldn't do it.
And you were in
It
the
was-
optimal like position too. 'cause,
I
like,
was
We had the
comfortable.
bed.
Oh
like,
yeah, I had all my pillows.
All your
behind me.
pillows.
I had my drink. I had my snacks.
we had like
I
a
was
whole bowl of weed and like one little thing of
that
cocaine.
is such BS.
It was great.
Such BS.
You were wearing the sexiest thing I've ever seen in my
Oh my
life.
In case you haven't figured out, he's so full of shit. But yeah, I mean, I was in prime comfy mode. I was
Right.
ready to enjoy a good film, and I thought I'm gonna give this one more shot because I owe that to Wonder Woman because she's awesome. And
You had bagel bites.
I had bagel bites, and it just sucked.
It was bad.
Neither of us could, because we tried to watch it for a second time in order to do this review, because we watched it like everyone else on Christmas Day when it came out on HBO Max. And so, you know, we had already watched it, but we didn't make the review for weeks and weeks later. So we thought we need to watch it one more time so we can really get all the details and have a good cohesive review of the film. And we couldn't even make it through it. We didn't even get halfway through it before we looked at each other and was like, think you've seen enough? Yeah, I think we got
I
it.
think we could just watch another person's review and just kind of get the recap that we were needing so that we can talk about.
Yeah, I think we got it. I think we can get through it.
We're good.
It's just that bad. So I mean, if you have seen the film and you liked it, I'm glad you liked it. I am. It makes me happy to know that somebody liked this film. I'm not one of those people. I just think, I mean, 'cause even me, I like a lot of films that my sweet husband here thinks are not good
Quite
at
terrible.
all.
Quite terrible.
That he thinks are just horrible movies, but I enjoy them. I can find something to enjoy about almost any film. But that's how you know this film was a letdown, when even I don't care for it.
I do think it's important for us to point out, though, like we've already pointed out with Kristen Wiig, but again, all the actors did great.
Oh yeah, Gal Gadot, as
They did the best they
always,
could with film that they
is
had.
great. I mean, she really is. She was perfectly cast as Wonder Woman. I wasn't sure whenever I first heard she was being cast as Wonder Woman. I really wasn't sure. But as soon as I saw the first Wonder, we went and saw it in the theaters, and I was blown away. She's amazing, and she's a beautiful person as well. She's a great actress, and of course Pedro Pascal. I mean, what can we not say about him? He's awesome. You know, and even Chris Pine, whom, let's face it, has kind of fallen off the face of the earth. But he still is a good actor as well. I mean, there's good acting in the film. It is simply
Just
the
the writing.
story. Yeah, the storytelling in this film is non-existent. It's not there. There's nothing.
I have one last thing to say about the movie, and it's important to me, and it has kept me up the last 2 nights.
I'm trying not to laugh because I feel like he could be serious and he could not be
It's
serious.
the fucking watch. Why the fuck did the watch start back up? There was that scene.
There was no mention of why this happened at all.
There was the
whatsoever.
scene where she makes her wish that wants Trevor back, which you don't hear. You just you can just tell.
It's
obviously it's
apparently-
what she
apparently
wants.
just supposed to be.
It's a mechanical
signal.
watch.
It's supposed to just be a signal of the beginning of Steve coming back to life, and then the end of him. You know, pretty much. Does he die again?
What do you mean?
Well, like, how much would it suck? So he like gets blown up, then he comes back to life, and then he dies again, or does he just?
Yeah, he just goes back to being dead.
That blows. Okay. But more reviews are coming. Promise they will be better than this one, because this one.
This was peak review. What are you talking about?
If there is a movie that you would like for us to review, leave it below in the comments, and we'll check it out. If it's something we have seen or something we haven't seen, give us something that you think maybe we haven't seen.
You're just taking the helm here, aren't you?
We like to watch. Do you like it?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I'm the fucking pirate right now, so I think you need to give me the
yeah,
goddamn
with your eye patch.
fucking eye patch.
Later, the eye patch stays on. Hit like and subscribe, and
Do that too.
tell us what you want to hear.
Tell us. Say things in the comments. Say them. Goodbye. We're going to bed.
Abby someone. Abby someone. Abby who? Abby normal.